All right, here we go. Monday. This is week 4, and this would be day 6 for introduction networks or networking. Okay. Lab work, setting up workstations, chapter 3 protocols. We got started on that. So it's a combination of those. We reviewed, or we introduced, talked a little bit about the OSI model. Even though we didn't call it the OSI model, we started talking about these layers, the application, presentation, and session. Creating, preparing the data to then be transported, either TCP or UDP. We're going to make sure all the packets get there. We're just going to stream them and hope they get there. This works good for video. This works good for browsing the internet. Plus lots of other things. Network layer, we just started talking about. We got an IP address there, and this is best path. Okay? The next session, we talk more about TCP IP. Data link layer, how do we link between the two locations? So, for example, inside the switch, we have, let's say, I don't know, a PC connected. This connection here, how does it know which PC is which? Well, for right now, we talked a little bit about media access control, the MAC address, and that is part of Ethernet, 802.3. We're going to talk about 802.11 here in a little bit. And then the physical layer is, how does it get the bits? For example, if it's in wire, it's electrical, but if it's I don't know, Wi-Fi, sends them a little different when they're in the air. So it's either on wire, it's in the air, or we send them through fiber. Okay? We introduced a term, broadcast, where we send information to all the devices on the switch. So a broadcast would go, let me clarify here, it would go to all the devices on the switch. We'll talk more about broadcast. All right. So here's broadcast term, and then we talked about the 2 ways we connect, right? Connect in, get a MAC address, or we connect wirelessly. Get it? So this is Wi-Fi to an access point, and here is to a switch. I'll just abbreviate that, and we're cabled into the switch. And up here we talk a little bit about the web server here on campus connected into the internet and communicating with that more. We'll talk about that each day. So in the lab, we had these switches, layer 2 switches, and then hopefully we were able to communicate based on typing in a IP address in the devices and a mask, and we were able to do a ping to experiment sending information. I don't know, sending information here from one device to another. Okay? So we're testing. This is ICMP communications. Talk more about that on Friday too. Okay? Default gateway, if we had router on here, the default gateway would point at the router. And domain name, if we were going to go out to the internet and use a domain name to find a address to a domain name server. These rules are protocols, and we did look at, this was important, we did look at an ARP. So this was at a command prompt, was at a command prompt. You typed ARP space -A, and it showed where the IPs were matched with the MAC addresses in your computer. We're actually going to do that again Monday, following Monday after Friday. Okay? Address resolution protocol. All right. That's it for Monday. We got a lot more to do on Friday.